So, all right, everybody. Okay. So welcome to tonight's team call. Tonight, I really just wanted to talk about Shakeology. It's something that is the backbone of our business. And we all know that it really is the key to our customers staying healthy and getting great results, because we all know that nutrition is 80%. And most people, that's where they fumble, that's where they drop the ball, especially because we live in such a busy world. People just need something that's going to help them in those times when they're busy and they would grab something that's, convenient and not that healthy. So it's a tool. And, everybody's got a shake to sell nowadays, and everybody has something to sell. And so people come in with all these preconceived notions about what Shakeology is and what it isn't. And, so it's really good for us to have a really general, like a really good general knowledge of Shakeology and just a basis to go off of to talk to people about it. And so many of us just kind of dive in and we start sharing or selling or whatever, and we don't always know what we're saying, or we just kind of repeat what we've heard and don't actually understand it. So today I just want to break down for you a little bit about the shake and what's really in it and what it really does and why it's so different. And hopefully you'll learn something new in there. And then also, how to really talk to your customers about it and how to get people to stay on it, so that hopefully this not only will produce, that's weird. Okay, well, it says we're still recording, so bizarre. Is everybody still there? It looks like I lost a couple. Okay. I don't know what that was, but anyways, okay. So hopefully we stay connected. But also because when people stay on it, they're going to stay, they're going to be healthier, and we're going to help them hit their goals and maintain, because the minute that you stop doing what you did to get you to those goals is when you stop it. But also for us, we understand that when somebody signs up, the shake, we don't make much off of a workout program. When they get the challenge pack, then that's when you do. And then when you have people who decide to stay on it, that's building your business rank-wise, because more discount coaches you have, you build in rank, but then also you're obviously building that residual income that just continues to compound and grow the more people are on Shakeology and stay on it. So you guys know, I'm sure you've heard this, that like 60% of diamond coaches were first discount coaches. So people fall in love with the product first. They've got to learn, to be on the shake and learn to love it. And oftentimes they decide to build their business from there. So really we want to start with just getting people on this product. Okay. So when somebody gets a bag of Shakeology and they try it, what is in one scoop of the shake each day is equivalent to 5 plates of salad. Plus they're getting their vitamins and minerals, and they're getting superfoods. Okay. So, and we'll go a little bit more into the superfoods later. So a really great thing to start by asking a client before you even talk to them about price tag or dollar. You know how we have some engagement questions? If you haven't seen them, they're in the back office. And they are engagement questions that are the ones that you would send, before we talk about, programs and recommendations, let me know a little bit about yourself. It would help, help me help you better to know where you stand. Do you have an issue with energy? Do you feel like you struggle with energy? And, how's your nutrition? So those questions, a great one to add to it is, tell me what you think you spend on average for one healthy meal. This puts the ball in their court first to think about it, because most people are not going to tell you $1 or $2, because something that costs that is really not healthy. So it's important to get them to throw a figure out, because many people will tell you, they'll go out and they'll get a salad and it's going to cost them $7, $8, $9. Well, one serving of Shakeology is $4, right? Or less if you're a discount coach, it's like $3.23. So you need to reverse their mindset off the bat so that they see that value in it and that it's really not that expensive. Also, you've got to remind them that they are replacing a meal every day with the shake. So that's going to be saving them money on their groceries or whatever that they're spending in that sense. And maybe they don't spend $4 on breakfast a day, but when they're having something that's going to sustain them, give them a lasting energy throughout the day, they're not going to need that afternoon coffee, or they're not going to need that bag of junk on the way to work that maybe they got. Let's say it's somebody who doesn't eat breakfast normally, right? Well, so they're going to have this breakfast now, but then they're not going to be craving all that junk later. They're not going to have the crash. They're going to have their metabolism better, all those things. So you just got to help them see how it would work for them. And again, I'll get more into that later. But so one thing is, you've got to understand, if you haven't gotten this question before, I'm sure that you will soon. Well, what's the difference between Shakeology and Advocare? And how does Shakeology compare to Body by V? And it's easy to get annoyed by these but there's a million things out there, and people are bombarded in their news feeds by all of these things and everywhere. So we've got to just help set them straight. I have taken the time to do research on all those products, and I highly recommend that you do as well, so that you actually know what you're talking about. Most of them do have junk in them. However, some of them, I did research on Herbalife a while ago, and they've changed and updated, and they don't have some of the junk in it that they. So you just kind of want to, you don't want to make it sound like you're bashing anybody else's product. You could lose customers that way. I actually had that happen once, and it wasn't even like a bash, but I was really passionate about it, and she thought I was kind of slamming somebody else's business, and she didn't like somebody that did business that way, and that was it. So you gotta be careful how you word it. But 3 things, and I'm sure you've heard of these before. Shakeology does not, you have to ask them, say, well, I'll be happy to tell you all about Shakeology. Most important, when you're looking at Shakeology versus something else, I need you to look at the ingredient list. So whatever shake you have or are contemplating, looking at, take a look at the ingredient list. And I want you to look for these 3 things. Soy. Soy is super common because it's like a cheaper filler that people can use, but it's bad for the body. It's bad for your health, and it's really bad for your thyroid. A lot of people have thyroid issues now. I'm sure you girls are getting in contact with people who have hypothyroidism, or that's how they've gotten their thyroid out and replaced. The shake is really good for them because there's actually the maca root in it actually reverses hypothyroidism and really helps stimulate that organ and help it get working properly on its own. So I have done a lot of research on maca root in particular, and I always am quick to talk to my clients about that. Again, the more you know, the more, and you'll have more confidence talking about Shakeology, and really the confidence is what people always ask me how I get so many discount coaches and how I get so many people on Shakeology. I am so passionate about Shakeology and this business opportunity, even way more than the workouts, because the shake is the thing that I didn't think I needed and I was hell-bent against. And now I can't go a day without it because I found that I just need it. I can't prepare 5-6 healthy meals a day. And so I post about that. So you gotta find out what to post about for you, but it's really important how people understand. I used to always post about the ingredients, not in a salesy way, but just in a, hey, this is my favorite ingredient. This one ingredient does da 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 da, and it's great to do that rather than the typical, it boosts your energy. Like they know that, they've seen that, so give them something different. Help them see that value. So first is soy. The second ingredient, tell them to look for artificial flavors. And there's all different names of them, but these wreak havoc on the digestive system and they slow your metabolism. So these people are on these shakes that are usually weight loss shakes thinking, hey, I'm going to, really lose, and it's actually doing the reverse. And also artificial sweeteners. That's the last one. So Shakeology has no soy, no artificial flavors, no artificial sweeteners, but most of the shakes out there do. For artificial sweeteners, those are the things that, oftentimes cause cancer, there's a lot of studies showing them to be carcinogenic, but a lot of people say, hey, it's not proven yet, but we don't want them in the body. And they actually make you gain weight. So you definitely want your clients to stay steer of those things and understand that our shake does not have any of those. Most people think that Shakeology is a protein shake. So it's really important to help them understand that a protein shake is simply that. It's just protein. This is a meal replacement shake because it has everything that you need. It's not just protein. It's got, like I said, the vitamins, the minerals, the superfoods. So that is what really makes it stand apart from most of the things out there. Oftentimes when they look at the price, they don't understand because they do think it's just a protein shake. All right. And then do some research on whey protein versus the concentrate versus the isolate. And there's a big difference, and ours has more of the pure kind that you want. There's a lot of junky ones out there too, so that's another thing you can look into. As far as the superfoods, some people are like, well, what are these superfoods? What does that mean? So just have a basic knowledge of these couple of things. One of the big things that superfoods do is that they reduce inflammation in the body. This is the number one cause of most diseases out there, and things like even migraines. I know so many people have issues with migraines. Often it's the immediate cause is inflammation in the body. Psoriasis, cardiovascular disease. Most things start, that's what the body, that's how it tells you something's wrong. It starts with inflammation. Shakeology actually helps to heal the body. When your body is getting these nutrients that needs, it works with the body to heal it and to reduce inflammation. So that's super important. Also, a lot of times people are inflamed and they're bloated and they're wondering, they're I'm eating healthy, I'm working out, why am I not losing weight? But they've got inflammation in the body. So again, the shake kind of heals the body from the inside out. it also boosts your immune system. This is huge for moms. Like our kids are in daycares or, church center or whatever, and they come in contact with a lot of germs. Little kids are like little germobiles, and that means moms are in contact with them all the time. So it is a lifesaver to have something. Most of the people that are drinking the shake every single day will tell you that they haven't been sick in a year, 2 years, 3 years. I know that I get sick every time my son does, and I haven't been sick myself in a while. I got to start keeping track of that. The other big thing is that it's got probiotics. So superfoods give you a lot of probiotics, and probiotics are going to help eliminate the junk in your gut. There's a lot of junk that gets stored up in the gut when we eat processed foods, which we do nearly every day because all that stuff is in there that we don't even know. So this, as all the nutrients in the shake infiltrate that and help break up that stuff and get it out of the body, they're going to feel lighter right away and like thinner and not so bloated. But because that processed stuff gets like stuck in the gut, these digestive enzymes that are in the probiotics are going to break all that down. And again, like I said, it backs you up, it gets you bloated, it causes all kinds of digestive discomfort, and the digestive system isn't working properly. So one of the first things your clients usually notice within like 5 days is that they feel like they're getting more regulated. I know I noticed that, and it was kind of weird. And it's not something necessarily everyone wants to talk about, but it's important that you have your digestive system running properly. And so that is one of the big things that the shake does. And there are a lot of people out there with things like IBS, and you can look in the back office. There's tons of testimonials about certain, whether it's, blood sugar levels and all this stuff, but it's got a lot of testimonials you can share with people because most people want stories over facts. Like, what is that thing? Like share, don't tell, or something about selling. Like, tell them and they'll sell it, share, whatever, something. I botched that up, but it's super true. So again, that's a big thing to know is that those probiotics and IBS and things like that, those symptoms are usually gone with like 5 days of people starting the shake. So they do notice digestional discomfort. I'm sure you did in the first few days, and that you can let them know. I let them know ahead of time. I send out an email that's called like a welcome getting started email. And I tell them like, that there are shipments on the way, and I let them know. I think I've shared this on Amanda's page. But I tell them, because people, they order a challenge pack and they want to know what's next. How do I get started? And so I put everything in there for how to log into their account, how to, see their Beachbody on demand and access the workouts day one. I give them a shake recipe and let them know what to expect when it arrives and about the digestive discomfort. And don't worry if they don't like it in the first couple of days. I didn't. It takes a few days to get used to it, all that kind of stuff. And when the next challenge group is starting. So that's something you can throw in there is like a recipe and let them know a little bit about the shake to start. Okay, so also, I'm going to make a post about this that I already have planned this week that I'm super excited about because most of us know that our foods that we think are eating healthy, most of us are paying, for organic apples and things like that. Unfortunately, our food supply today is like 66% less in nutrients in anything that you're eating than like 30 years ago because our soil is just overused. So I'm going to do some digging this week because I did do digging before and I can't remember the facts, but there was an email that came out to all of us coaches maybe like 3-4 months ago. And if you weren't coaching yet, then it was from like Carl and Darren and all them. And it was about how the shake, one of the ingredients was being taken out and a new one was being put in. And it was because they felt that the soil was compromised from how much they had been using it. And they no longer thought it was the most nutrient dense form of it. And so they got rid of it. I was super impressed. I remember posting about it because I was like, that's the company that I work for. Like that's how much they care about people's health. So that's, again, stuff you can find in the back office, but I want to do some digging about where our stuff grows and how often, all that stuff. I think that's something you need to share too, because I know people wonder about that. They wonder if it's processed. There's an FAQ on Shakeology in the back office. So again, it helps to just know the answers to those questions so that you're confident talking about it, because that we all know that like what's in your head comes across. If you're confident about it, you're going to be able to share with people nicely. Okay, so then you also want to talk to them about, you want to tailor the shake to their specific needs. So like I mentioned that engagement question where you ask them what they would typically spend for a healthy meal. And that helps them put it in perspective and help them see that many people are on a daily vitamin, multivitamin, whatever. Most people spend about $50 a month for those. So that's gone now. They don't need it anymore. So if you didn't know that, the shake completely replaces that. So they're already saving there too, in addition to the money from like groceries and things that they're replacing. Also, a lot of people that we come in contact with will tell you that they don't eat breakfast. That's like one of the number one causes of weight gain. They slow their metabolism. They eat a lot late at night. Not good. So those people that don't feel like they can eat first thing in the morning, the shake works really well for them. Also, there are people who will tell you that they struggle late at night. Then they should drink the shake at night. Like if there's somebody that has an afternoon slump, they're like, every day, Kim, 2:00, I'm like I'm going to crash. Like, that's when I grab a quick sugar fix or something. Then I want you to drink your shake then. So what works for one doesn't work for all. So you have to ask these questions so that you know what your clients need, where they're struggling, and then you can tell them to drink the shake at that time. Okay. So, okay, they need to understand, and we have to help them understand that the shake is not a quick fix. So there are a lot of weight loss shakes out there that are like, drink this and you're going to lose weight. We are selling, if you're going to say selling, sharing a lifestyle change, right? That comes from eating right and working out daily. And there's nothing else that's going to do it that's going to get them as healthy as possible. And I'm sorry, but a little pink drink or a pill that they can take to lose weight is not healthy. So this is it. Yeah, they're going to have to do the work, but this is the only way that is healthy and the only way that's going to give them long-term results. So if they want to do a quick 21-day fix and lose 10 pounds, well, guess what? If they stop there, they're going to put it back on. So we want to keep them on it. And when people stay on the shake, they have an easier time getting results and keeping those results because nutrition is the hardest part. So you have to help them see, like in your posts on social media, how it's helping you, like why it's made your life better and what it does for you or what it does for your clients. So they understand the value of it. Again, it's not a quick fix. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime habit. So you want to help them understand as you follow up with them, you know, that this is an important key moving forward is that they're getting these superfoods and superfruits, and they'll want to stay on it if you've been talking to them about the benefits from the beginning. So you've got that time before, like when you're talking to them and they first order, they've got 5 to 7 days before their shake even arrives that you can already be sending them a video. So in that email I told you about that I send them, I tell them that I want them to get started by watching this video about Shakeology. And I include that $100 Doctors Don't Lie. It's a wonderful video. If you haven't seen it, just YouTube 100 Doctors Don't Lie. And it's a video about Shakeology where all these doctors talk about the benefits of it. It's a little long, but if someone's genuinely interested in it, they're going to. There's also like a 57-second video that I use a lot that literally just shows them all the things in the shake. It'll be like, you know, in order to get this every day, you know, in this one serving, you'd have to eat, and it's like 5 heads of broccoli, like 6 heads of lettuce, and it's a neat video to see how much they have to eat. Nobody could ever eat that much in a day, and most people don't want to. So again, if you're somebody that doesn't like vegetables, use that in your post. Be like, I've never been able to eat vegetables. Like, I know they make me healthy. I know I need them, but I don't like them. That's why I love this shake. It's all in there, but I don't taste it, whatever. Find what works for you. So how do what you want to do with following up? Because people will stop the shake if they don't understand the value of it and that it's supposed to be something that they stay on. So you want to follow up with them and ask like, hey, did your shake arrive yet? Or did you get your package? Do you have a message? That's one of my first ones. Then when they let me know that it did, I remind them. So this is key. People forget about that email that I sent them, that there's a recipe in it, or they see that they get it and they don't go through it. This has happened to me so many times that now my challengers will tell my other new challengers, they're like, read Kim's email and use that recipe. Because a lot of times I see them posting in the group day 1 or day 2, and their shake, they give it a 2 or they give it a 3. And I'm like, why'd you give your shake a 3? And they're like, oh, I didn't really like it. And I was like, well, what recipe did you use? And they're like, well, I didn't really. I just kind of mixed it up. I'm like, well, did you try the recipe? Try the recipe that I sent in that email. They're like, oh, I forgot. Can you send it again? So when they try it, every time they love the shake. I want them to like it. That's why I give them the recipe that's my favorite day 1, so that they at least like it more than I did when I got mine. And then, they can play with it. They can whatever. But if they like it, they're more going to be likely to stay on it. Then about 7 days later, I do a follow-up. So they've been drinking the shake like a week now. I ask them how they're liking it. I have like a kind of copy and paste thing, and I just tailor the beginning and end, but I'm like, are you noticing the benefits of drinking it yet? Have you noticed that you have more energy? Have you noticed that you don't have as many sweet cravings, or that they're gone completely? That energy throughout the day. Have you noticed some weight loss, improved hair, skin, or nails? People notice that pretty quickly, actually. I didn't, but some of my clients swear that they have that happen really fast. So improved digestion. And then about 14, so somewhere in the 7 to 14 day range is when I ask them if they're noticing the benefits kick in, because I feel like anything less than 7, they might still have some digestional, just where they're not really feeling that. But between the, when they've been on it about 2 weeks, they should be feeling something. Then at the 3-week mark, so day 21, that's when I follow up and let them know that Shakeology is on home direct, which means for their convenience, it ships every 30 days so that they don't ever run out of it, because we would never want them to run out of this nutrition that they need. So if they want to change their flavor, they can do it here. And I give them the information. I know Christina's got a great one. I'm sure she shared with her team that she uses. But why this is so important is because one of the worst things we can do as coaches is to forget to send that out and to have somebody be like, I just got charged $130. Like, ladies, that charge is not a joke, right? That's like a huge bad surprise in your bank account if you didn't know it was coming. Now, it's overwhelming when your client base grows to like what mine is now, where I scroll through and I have well over 100 customers, or I have like, 30 to 50 challengers at a time. It does get hard to remember. I also have my husband's business and my business, and he's getting leads and I'm getting leads. He's got challengers and I've got challengers. He's got coaches, I've got coaches. It does get really overwhelming. I would not be able, you have to find some way to track this. So what I have found is that if I do not sit down and write it the day that somebody purchases it, I forget 9 times out of 10. So I literally open up my agenda that day that they purchase and I fast forward 1 week and I write down, Shako follow up with Brandy or whatever. And then I go to like day 14 and I'm like, benefits, Shako, whatever, Shako benefits follow up with Brandy. And then I go to day 21. Brandy Shako reorder morning or whatever, and I let them know. And then I also, when I can, and I do this a lot, but I do miss it sometimes, on day like 29, I write down in my agenda to let them know that it's going to ship tomorrow, because sometimes people just forget. And because there's the club membership that comes for free with a challenge pack, I don't want them to get charged $41 if they don't want it. I had that happen when it was what, day 30? And I was like, what's this $41 charge? And granted, I got it, quickly resolved, but I didn't really like that. It doesn't feel good. And I would never want to have someone not trust me as much or think I was trying to sell them something or get something past, because that's not my intention. So it's really important to write those things down. And there's a tracker in the back office, actually, that if you look for it, write down where it is, for how to follow up about Shakeology. I mean, the back office is your best friend if you use it. I have not used it nearly enough in my business, and I'm just starting to get into it more because that's where everything that you see the top coaches, like we all go to YouTube or we go to these team calls, and it's all coming from there. Our company's done an amazing job at putting that all in there. So I think that's most of what I wanted to cover about the shake. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anything that maybe they feel like they're coming into? If you guys want to unmute yourselves, comment, objections, questions, anything for me that you're struggling with, or any questions on the material or anything like that.
Kim.
Yes.
What's the shake recipe that you give your customers?
So I think I shared this in Amanda's team page, but if not, I will share it again because it is in there. I first started with the chocolate and I had a hard time. I didn't like it at all for like 2 weeks. And Ariel, my diamond coach, she didn't like I think she started with vanilla. It was almost 4 weeks and she was like, I'm going to stop my bag. And she actually did. She stopped it for like a week or two. And was like, I don't like it. And I was like, I was trying everything. I sent her my message. It didn't do it for her, but it does it for most people. I found that the shake was too thick for me. And so the vanilla is actually a little bit thinner to me than the chocolate. I like the chocolate, but my favorite is still the vanilla because I just find it thinner. And the coffee one is good too because it's a little thinner than the chocolate. But I make mine thinner. So some people like their shake thick. I use a cup of water and I use like a quarter cup of milk on like 3 days a week that I do milk. And then I do use like 5 to 6 ice cubes. And I use a tablespoon of peanut butter with a scoop of the vanilla. That's all I do. And it is thin if you looked at it, but literally it tastes like a peanut butter milkshake now. Like, I don't know if I'm just that used to it, but like my son will fight me for it, like screaming, crying, hanging on me. And if I make it other ways or different ways, he doesn't really care, but that one he loves. So I just have that one in there. I send it to people and most of the time people like it. I mean, they do wind up playing on their own and finding recipes on Pinterest, and I always encourage them to do that. And obviously it's great to have a Shakeology, like a Shake It Saturday or whatever in your challenge group where everybody shares recipes because then they can try new ones and see what they like. But at least I know that I'm giving them one off the bat that 9 times out of 10 they're going to like it. And if they tell me, well, it was really thin or something or kind of watery, then I tell them just use less water. But I'd rather have it be too thin, I think, than too thick, because when it's too thick, some people like can't even drink it and then they just think it's gross. So.
Right. Okay. And then the second thing, going back when we discussed the superfoods and you talked about the reduction of inflammation, and then you kind of touched on the migraines. And it was something that you said after that, because you went right into the cardiovascular.
Psoriasis.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were the 3 that I found. And like I told you guys, I have a lot of people that come to me with either fibromyalgia or hypothyroidism or some kind of thyroid issues. Like I can't even tell you that I get like 5 out of 7 clients tell me they have thyroid issues. It's just so common. And it's mostly because, like I told you, that the artificial sweeteners, no, artificial flavors are really bad. No, goodness gracious. Soy-based proteins are bad for your thyroid. And most things out there have soy in them. Ours doesn't. But people don't even know what's in their food that they're eating most of the time. So it always makes me, I try not to laugh, but I get like ladies who are pregnant, and they're like, well, I would never drink the shake while I'm pregnant. Meanwhile, they're posting that they're at like Burger King and McDonald's for lunch. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But, you know, it's all about meeting them where they're at and loving them where they're at and extending some grace, because most people just don't know and they don't understand. Like I was that person too. I would have been super hesitant to be on the shake. Now I won't miss a day while I'm pregnant. But, you know, people don't understand. So I find that there was a great national wake-up call last week by, not the Melanie Mitchell one. What was her name? And she mentioned recruiting. It was all about recruiting. I think it was Bonnie. And she said that she has found that if she takes whatever common hesitations that she's getting about coaching or whatever, and she tailors it into a post. So like, she's like, for my coaches, I always get people who are like, you know, I'm too hesitant to start the business. I don't think I could ever do that because like, I don't have enough time. And so she would take a post and be like, you know, I remember when I thought I didn't have enough time, but in a way that she's like, and what happens is I found that I stopped getting that objection. So, you know, for me, I was trying to think of like, what's my most common objection with the shake? And it's honestly was financial always, every time.
Yeah.
Ironically, I don't get financial objections anymore. Like I never get them, but I can tell you that my script, if y'all look in the team page and go down to, it'll probably be like 6 or 7 down. I have a day 1 discount coach script. Now, for a lot of you, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a long message. I'm long-winded. When people talk to me, they know that I'm going to be talking for a while. So I don't know why, but it just works for my people. It may not work for Ariel. She's much more concise. But for me, I send people, like once we've done I've asked them the questions, they message me their answers. I pull out of there exactly why, okay, because you said you struggle with this would be great for you. This would work for you because, so then when they're like, okay, sounds good. Like, what do I do now? Or how much does it cost? I literally copy and paste this every time. The only thing I do is change the dollar amount if it's on sale or not. It tells them exactly what they get for the price, and that tells them the price because I want them to see all of it. And then I go, and then a little bit about Shakeology. And it says, like the first thing it says, it is not a protein shake. Like it is so much more than that. And I talk about how nutrient deficient people are nowadays and that this is why. And I said, I know it seems pricey, but here's what I want you to think about. Cheap is as cheap does. Do you want to put cheap into your body? Like most of us, you know, and so I try not to make it sound like forceful or threatening, but at the same time, I want them to understand that like, if you're going to go spend all that money on a purse and you're going to go spend all this money, whatever, like one of the most important places you can spend that money is on your body because you only get one. And if you abuse it, you're going to lose it. So, you know, it's for me, I also say this in that script. I say Shakeology is not an expense. It's an investment. It's an investment in my health. So I'm not paying up the butt in medical bills later. So I'm not sitting in a hospital room the rest of my life. So like I refuse to see it as an expense. I did. And also you've got to impress this on your coaches as you grow a team. One of the biggest things I see coaches mess up with is they're like, well, I can't really afford to stay on the shake. Like once I get more clients, then I'm going to go back on it. I'm like, no. You're not going to get clients to buy something that you aren't buying yourself. Like if you don't understand the value of it enough to be on it, then you're not going to have people joining up under you. So that's like, we have to be willing to make that investment first in ourselves and get the benefits of it and get it into our heads what it's doing to then have other people want to join us. So like I'll never go a day without it. I mean, look at me. What am I drinking? Recover right now. I've got the booster that goes in the shake, the greens, and I give it to my little guy and I've made a post about that. Like I love that. He has a blood disorder. He needs all of his more than most kids do. He needs all of the phytonutrients and he needs like the folic acid that's in like spinach and everything. But my kid won't touch spinach. Like no matter what I do, he picks it out. It's like, ew, green stuff. So I put it in the shake and I mix the vanilla shake up and he drinks it and he loves it. Like for him and my husband, it's what I have to do and it works. So it's just a tool. You know what I mean? And those aren't even that expensive. But it's really important to have coaches be on it and to be posting. I noticed that the one thing I see coaches really comfortably post about is their workouts. Very rarely do I see people post about Shakeology. If they do, it's as a brand new coach. They start off once or twice. And I never see it again. And I've been telling my team, like with your coffee, post that. Like when you're just drinking it, when you're in the car, like when you think about it and you're like, I barely have 60 seconds sometimes to whip it up. And so I make that a post. Like I remember when I told my coach that I didn't need this because I could do it myself. You know what? Like I can't do it myself because I can't find the time to make 6 healthy meals a day. So it's like a mom lifesaver. People think that they can do it all, but then those are the same people that are, they get too hungry and at 3 o'clock they're ravaging the pantry and they're picking something unhealthy out because they don't have a quick option. Everybody needs a quick option. So with that price objection, when I don't think I really don't ever get it anymore, because right in there I tell them, you're going to notice that your grocery bill goes down because you're replacing one meal a day with it. For me, it's totally wiped out my sweet cravings. So I don't need to buy chocolate bars and brownies and ice cream. Like I literally don't buy them because I don't want them anymore. So I also cut down there. And then when I'm on the go, I have something, I literally drink my shake in the car pretty much every day because I'm always running somewhere that I just happen to have it then. You better believe that I'd be going to Chick-fil-A or Starbucks or wherever else and spending money, and I'd be spending more than $3.23 on that. So it does. It helps people to understand. So I do put all that into a script. There's a lot of coaches who will tell you to breadcrumb information so that you don't overwhelm the people that you're talking to. I think that's great. You got to read. Some people, like if they give you real short answers and real, like you may want to just be like, hey, this is the price or whatever. But I find that for me, I just send that whole shebang in one where I let them know this is the price, a little bit more about Shakeology. And then I say, and I always tell them if it's a little too expensive for you, we can talk about this, that. But I found that when I used to automatically say, if this is a little too much for you, we can talk about you. There's ways for you to get a discount, this and that. I felt that I was almost devaluing Shakeology by offering a way to get it cheaper up front, and that I was almost attracting a financial objection by having that hesitancy up the front. Like I was like, oh, I think I'm going to get a financial objection. So let me just put this in there that there's a way to get it cheaper. And I don't think you want to do that until you get a financial objection. Sometimes like we have that hesitation in our head ourselves, and then we attract it more. So I know that when Ariel was, hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing this, she's obviously diamond now and been super successful in the business. I mean, this girl's goals this year, whew, like they still scare me. They're beyond mine. So she is flying. But when she was a new coach, like I really struggled with her with the shake because I told you she didn't like it. And then what was happening was she was not like having any luck selling anybody anything. She was talking to all these people. And I was finally like, well, like, what's going on? We got on the phone, like, she was telling me, like, I don't know, da, da, da. And I was like, well, what do you think about the shake? Like, what do you think about the value of a challenge pack and the price? And she's like, honestly, like, I think it's really expensive. And I don't think most people are going to pay this up front. Like, well, there you go. You think it's too expensive for people to, so you're getting tons of financial objections. Like whatever's in your head somehow is always going to come across. You don't think so. You may not be explicitly spelling it out or saying it, but somehow people pick up on it, and it does. Every time I've had something not right in my head, I see it affecting my business. So once she started to love the shake herself, like I told her to stop posting about it right now. I don't want it to be fake. Find what the value of Shakeology is for you, because it's different for all of us. And there's going to be some people who come in here with crazy high like cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels, like issues with diabetes, and they're going to be like, this shake, blah blah blah, took it down to this, and my level of it, and that's unique to each person. So your story, like nobody can dispute your story because it's yours. So that's what you want to be sharing with people, because that's what's going to attract them. Even if they don't have that same issue, they're going to be like, holy cow, like Natalie's blood sugar dropped, blah, 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 from drinking the shake. And, and I see her posting that, like her kid loves it and she's always on it and it's a lifesaver. And so, we've got to be visible with whatever that we're doing as coaches. Otherwise people don't know, like they don't know that you're drinking it every day. And one last tip about this, you don't always have to be saying Shakeology, like healthiest meal of the day, and kind of slam it in their face. I heard recently a top coach say, and I'm going to start doing this more, when you make a post about like you're out and about with your family, or, and you've got your shake, just have it be in the picture. Like, and I don't mean to stage it, like, okay, let's all get, oh wait, let's throw my cup in. But like literally where if you're driving around drinking, you take a selfie with your kid and be like, on the way to our Bible study, so excited. Like, there it is. I don't actually have to make the whole post about Shakeology, but people are going to know. Like one of my favorite top coaches, she uses this for her whole entire business to glorify God, is Michelle Myers. And I just look up to her so much. She'll have the shake a lot of the times where I see it. And it's just like people will comment, oh, I see a little, whatever his name is drinking his Shake-O today. And what's the flavor? And because they just know. And that's what I want people to know. I want them to know when they see something in my hand, it's going to be Shakeology. So anybody else have any questions, or just honestly put it out there. If there's an objection you're getting, or if there's something that you don't know or a question you have product knowledge wise, I can't 100% say I can answer it, but I've done a lot of research on this. I have a whole in my binder section on Shakeology because I just think that the more research on you that you do, the better. Megan,
Kim, I was just going to piggyback on what you said about like taking the picture with it. I'm a big Snapchat person, and so I post my Shakeology on Snapchat like all the time. And one of my friends on Snapchat did, like, I've never talked to her about Beachbody or 21 Day Fix or anything. And she messaged me and was like, so you drink Shakeology, and ended up buying a bag. She liked it so much, she bought a second bag and became a coach.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does work, like just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed that pretty fast after. It only takes me about 2 Shako posts. I try to do like 1 a week, just because, you know, we have so many posts about the opportunity to post it, that I don't want it to be like a bomb. So I try to space them out. But if I found that usually within 2 weeks, so like 2 posts of the Shako, and I'm getting messages. Sometimes this past week, I posted one about how Amanda, I was like, I remember my coach telling me that, you know, I told her that I wouldn't need this. And that post right after it, I had 2 people message me about the shake. And it was one of the first times that I tried to lay my agenda at the door, not like, let's see who I can get on Shakeology today. But I was really just like, I'm sitting there drinking it thinking like, isn't it funny that I thought I didn't need it? And I drink it every day. And I just put that up. It's usually when we're just real about it. Christina had a great one this week about Aubrey being sick, and she just had it in her hand. And she's like, I'm more grateful than ever for this, because like literally she is so clingy right now. I can't do anything. Like as moms, we've had those days, and I only have one where like you literally can't cook yourself something because they're crying. Like, mommy, pick me up, pick me up. So you can, there's no reason that you can't just blend that up in 60 seconds, you know? Yeah.
Well, and that's why I like I'm more timid to post stuff on my Facebook because, you know, there's people out there like, she's posting another one again. So like, I don't know if anyone else has Snapchat or any like Instagram and stuff, but sometimes I feel a little more like at ease posting so much on there, and that I don't, not that I have to stage every post, but I'm more just like, you know,
yeah,
I feel more comfortable posting it sometimes, and then it actually worked out in my favor.
I got to ask you one question just because you said that.
Okay.
I've been watching, I'm friends with a lot of people who are like 3 to 6 star diamond coaches. And I was a little discouraged the last 2 days, and just feeling like things aren't moving fast enough. And like with all this house stuff coming and wanting to get pregnant, thinking about like, am I really going to be able to hit some of these goals? And I had a good friend and someone who I value her Christian counsel make a couple comments about like Shakeology, and just like, if I'm doing this, like if I go further with this business, you know, she was kind of like, I hope that you go far with it. But, you know, have you really thought about it? Like, you know, you can't really call yourself a stay-at-home mom if you're working all the time. And would you really, you know, be able to take care of your kid? And it kind of got to me. Like, I won't lie. I laughed, and it kind of got to me. Like, yeah, I always did want to be a stay-at-home mom. And if I do this, if I go big, like I want to go big with this, am I going to be working 40 hours a week, and my husband will be raising my kids? Because that's not really what I want. And so it got in my head for 2 days, and I was like, you know what? I need to stop my power hour today, and I need to do personal development. I need a full hour today. That's what I need, like Saturday and today. That was the plan. But God always gives us what we need. And there's a girl who I sent a friend request to doing my little Beachbody job like yesterday. And turns out she's a coach. She is a 6-star diamond coach she was in Woodstock where I live, but she just moved into Sandy Springs a little bit away. Literally, I already set up like lunch with this girl for this week. She's not on our team. She's on Megan McAllister's from all the Ohio videos and stuff, her downline. And she was she's just like, seems amazing. And she would just post all these pictures this week of her being in LA for the whole like release Tony Horton's thing, and like they're drinking their Shako, and they're out like flying around LA and going out and sitting there with like Carl, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm seeing all these pictures of like leadership retreat, and these ladies are flying all over, like they've got friends, they're working out there. I'm like, this is like the life. Like this would be a dream for me. That's why I'm doing it. And I thought about it. I'm like, Kim, you're never gonna make it there if you let everybody's opinion of you or like get in your head. Like you aren't. So you know what? I know there's people that have probably unfriended me along the way. Mm-hmm. I know that there's people who probably think I'm just somebody else selling something and out to like, but you know what? Like the way I look at it is, if I was standing on that stage one day, like in the Millionaires Club, or I was standing on that stage one day and I'm like a 10-star diamond coach or even a 5-star diamond coach, and I'm making enough money for my husband to be home or for us both to be with our kids, would I ever look back and say, oh, but there was those couple people? I'm not even going to think about it. You know, like I'm not going to remember it. And I'm like, we have to remember, you know why you're doing what you're doing and why you're posting what you're posting. And you know that by doing that and being visible, you help people that need it. And think of how this has helped you. And if Christina would have never posted because somebody thought that of her, you know, and that's what pushes me forward to be like, you know, let somebody think what they think. Because whenever you're doing something right, there's going to be opposition. And whenever, you know, there's somebody that's doing it, there's going to be people who are jealous too. And unfortunately, it's sad, but I just try to bring that before God. And do my personal development and try to get over it, because, you know, if you let it in, it will fester. And I actually listened to a testimony at a leadership conference in Atlanta for Beachbody, where a top coach said that she was like making well over $100,000. Something very similar happened. Somebody close to her made a comment. It really got in. She wound up quitting. Well, not quitting, but pretty much taking like a year off. Her income went all the way down. And then she thought about it. And as her income went all the way down, like she wasn't doing anything for a year. And she was still making like 40 grand with Beachbody. And she was like, wake up call. I just worked a full-time job, like 8 to 5 for a whole year. And then I didn't work Beachbody and still made 40 grand. And my other job, I made like whatever it was, 40 grand. She's like, who's the dumb one? You know, she's like the person who listens to somebody like that. Like, I'd rather, you know what? And I have had so many people that have said to me like, no, like with a capital N. Actually, I'll stop on this now. But there was a girl who is my sister's friend who was very, very overweight. And I met her a couple times. And I didn't necessarily get a feel either way, but this was when I was a newer coach and I was doing some cold invites. And I sent her a message, like, we were talking about my sister, talking about the party, da-da-da. And then I sent a message about how I was, like, starting a challenge group. I was like, if you're ever interested, you know, let me know. I would love to have you and tell you more about what I do and stuff. And she never answered me. And then a week later, my sister was like, so I hear you tried to sell my friend Julie something. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. She said that, like, you know, we got to lunch. And she's like, so your sister tried selling me Beachbody. Do you think she does that to all your friends? And I won't lie, like when I heard it, I was kind of like, ooh, you know, like it's not a good feeling, like that she was like basically talking about me behind my back and not in a good way. And honestly, I never reached out to like apologize, because I was like, then she knows my sister told me, whatever. I just let it go. That same girl, I almost posted this 2 days ago, but I am making a feel-good board behind my computer of testimonials from my challengers. And my goal, because we're about to move, so in my new office, is to have all the pictures of all the lives that I've touched from Beachbody around, so that any single time that somebody gets in or I want to give up, that I look at that and think of all those people who might not have been helped if I never would have, like, you know, gotten over my fear or gotten over any of that. And her message the other night was right when I needed it. And it was like, Kim, I made a post about me eating ice cream, and I put like learn to love yourself. Like, if God can love you, so can you, because I only really loved myself if I was doing things right. And I struggle to feel like I love myself, you know, when I mess up or when I don't get my workout in. And I'm growing in that area. So I was just open about it and kind of vulnerable. And she messaged me and she's like, I just want you to know that your posts are so encouraging and inspiring. You are so relatable. I just feel so encouraged by you. And I feel like you are just meant to be a Beachbody coach. And I mean, this is that same girl. And I was like, see, and I've had people tell me like, heck no, and I'm not interested. Like, don't message me again. Granted, it's only happened like twice. One of those two people has since been like, so can you tell me more about Insanity Max 30? I saw you were doing it. I'm really interested. Like, it's so true. It's not a no. It's a not now. And if you just go around long enough, they're probably going to come back. And now when people tell me no, I'm kind of like, okay. Does anybody else have anything? Kajal, Andrea, I don't know if anybody's coming up with Shako objections that are.
Hi. No, I don't have any Shako objections. I had one, but and it was an Indian girl who I was talking to too. So she's like, I don't really do shakes or any of that stuff. So I just sat there and I talked about certain ingredients and saying that it's not just a protein shake and it's a meal replacement and for these reasons, and like certain ingredients and what they have been. A while back, we all picked a couple ingredients and Ariel made a document, so I referred back to that one. And I just picked a couple to identify. Well, I specified ashwagandha because that's an Indian ingredient, and she would probably be familiar with that, like most people are who are from India. But then in addition to that, I added a couple other more female-friendly stuff, like maca root and whatnot.
Yep.
And so she seemed more inclined to look into it. She didn't purchase, but at least she didn't knock it out completely at the time. So we'll see if when that happens, that she actually decides to pursue it. But for me, it's right now is more just there's no response. It's dead air.
Mm-hmm. Well, you brought up a good point though, that when you were saying that, like, you know, you did that with her, so you tried something new.
And then you're like, so we'll see if that works, like eventually. And that I heard Scotty Hobbs, I think it was, one of our top coaches, say that he likes to track. So he's like, I'm going to try this with these 5 clients. I'm going to talk to them about Shakeology this way. And so he kind of writes that down. And I know it sounds like a lot of work, but you could even just do it on a piece of paper and throw it up behind your computer or something. And then see what happens with them. Because I am, although I said I have that one script that's like my lucky charm, and it is, I was just thinking about revamping a couple things on it and trying them, because I do think it's really good to always be like, what works right now is not always going to work. And then, you know, it's not going to work with every single person. I think it's really good to be reading the people that you're talking to, and then also making sure that you're tracking to see like, okay, like we always have to be like, I can't make my Coach Basics and then have it work like a charm for the next 30 years. Like I'm going to have to update it and revamp and change videos, you know? So I think we've always got to be evaluating our business. Like what's working right now? Okay. What's not working? How can I change that? Because you've got to be, you know, you're your own boss. So you've got to kind of ride yourself sometimes. Like, you know, you would have evaluations or whatever if you had a regular job, and to talk about raises and promotions, like, would you give yourself a raise right now? Oh, that's a good one. I'm so good sometimes. Just kidding. Really. So anywho, but no, I think that's really good. It's good that you found it, you thought about what she might be interested in and what might work, and took that from a no to like a not right now. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. Good stuff. Andrea, anything, or are we ready to wrap? Well, I'm glad this actually recorded this time, so that way if anybody needs some help with Shakeology, they can take a listen. All right. Well, thanks for being on, ladies. I hope it helped you in some small way, and feel free to, you know, post any questions or anything. Hope everybody has a great night.
Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.